Hello. Well, today I'm talking about quiet. Shh. Now, I'm not talking about the enforced quiet of a library, you know, when you just have to sit there very quietly and it makes you want to rebel and rustle up your sweet wrappers. I'm talking about a quiet mind, but you probably guessed that, didn't you? Now, when people think of a quiet mind, they think that they have to be very, very still, very quiet. But sometimes that's really difficult, isn't it? So people think about meditation. That's fine if you can meditate. A lot of people can't stop thousands of thoughts, which of course we can't, but they can't stop noticing them. And then how about if you're sitting there really quietly in a meditative state and then someone comes in and disturbs you? What then? That's not a quiet mind, is it, as you're shouting at them? So it's not necessary to sit somewhere quietly on your own. Because you don't have to sit somewhere very quietly and sit on your own to be peaceful. Now, I've noticed when I swim, and I swim very slowly, very sedately, but I count when I swim, and I hadn't even realised I did that until recently. So I count. So I really will be going 1, 1, 1, turn around, 2, 2. And it's not obsessively, although I suppose it could be, but it's really calming. But that wouldn't work in any other situation. If I tried to sit and try and be calm, go 1, I'd be thinking, what the hell, shut up. Now, for some people, it can be listening to heavy rock music. You could be listening to heavy rock music and you might think on the outside, well, that's hardly quiet, listening to heavy rock music with your earphones on. But for other people, it can really, really help them to just not notice the chatter that's going on. So effectively, they have a quiet mind while they're singing. How about when we tell children to be quiet? We tell them to, shh, be quiet, be quiet. But what we're telling them, sit down and be quiet, is not to talk. We're not helping them to see how to slow down their thoughts, are we? And then we might give them a screen to watch and totally overstimulate them. And we do nothing to stop their thoughts running at 100 miles an hour. So how do you do it? Well, there isn't a technique, is there? There's nothing to do. If I sit and stare at the sea, sometimes my thoughts disappear and I'm just staring at the sea. And other times I stare at the sea and it's just the screen onto which I see my thoughts chasing each other. So there's not one thing you can do as a technique. But one thing you could do is to notice the internal chatter that's going on, to be present. Imagine if you're in a really noisy, busy business meeting and everybody's shouting. Well, you might think, well, that's not a place that I can sit quietly or have a quiet mind. But it is, because if you're in the middle of a busy meeting, are you listening to everybody, or are you listening to yourself, judging what everybody else is saying, trying to get your opinion in, your own thoughts are going 100 miles an hour? What would happen if you just actually sat back and ignored the internal chatter and was present to the meeting? You could actually have a quiet mind, couldn't you, and listen. So all I want you to do is to be aware when your mind is revved up. When you feel yourself with a really busy mind and noisy thoughts, okay, what are you doing? Where are you? Just be aware. And that on its own can help your mind just quieten down and be at rest. So I'm inviting you to be free to be quiet. Okay, bye-bye.